Hey gang, we're here for a 15-minute full body stretch. You don't need anything for this workout. I would consider this to be either a really nice cool down or a stretch that you can do as a standalone just in the morning or right before bed. And you can even slice this in half or in a third if you only have 5 or 10 minutes for, let's say, a cool down, okay? So don't need anything, maybe some water nearby. Shoes and socks optional. I've got my mat and let's get started. We're gonna go ahead and begin in a turned out runner's lunge position, and I'll show you what that looks like. So, I think it might be easier to turn and face the camera for this one. So, a runner's lunge position, one knee comes forward. So in this turnout position, you're going to take an angle, and so essentially my angle is coming to that top left corner of my mat, and then I'm just going to go ahead and bring that left hip a little bit more forward, and I'm going to go ahead and just sort of lean into this stretch. This is a really great hip opening stretch, but if you're in the right position, you can also feel a nice stretch all the way down your spine. And we're just gonna breathe into it. I like to think of this as more of a relaxing stretch routine. Sometimes even yoga can be a little bit more strenuous than we necessarily want. So I want you to take this 15-minute opportunity to just give your body exactly what it needs. Relax, breathe into each stretch, sort of clear your mind and focus on presence. And you can even choose to pair this with a 5-minute meditation. That's actually my plan. I'm gonna go ahead and do my meditation right after this while my mind is clear. I feel a bit more calm and balanced. In about 10 seconds, we're gonna move into a child's pose stretch, which is one of my favorites. Good. So in this child's pose, I'm gonna keep knees pretty much tight, not totally together like side by side, but tight to the body, since we already opened up the hips, and just slide those hips as far back as you can. You should really feel a nice lengthening stretch in the shoulders. Try to spread out those fingers and toes. Relax your forehead to the mat if you'd like. Good. We're going to come into tabletop and then tuck the feet, lifting those hips into a down dog. Option to just hold your down dog or pedal. Just get a deep stretch in those calves, finding length in your dog. Now from here, we're going to slide back into a high plank position. You can choose to either drop the knees or just scoop it down into a mini cobra or up dog. We call this stretch cobra. And you can massage the thighs to your mat, or you can pop the thighs up and go into an up dog if you want a deeper stretch. This is a really great ab stretch. If you can keep your hips on the mat, you should feel a nice low back and ab stretch as well. Good. We're going to come all the way down. Chest comes nice and relaxed. Go ahead and bring that right foot in. Try to get that heel to touch the glutes if you can. Let's get a nice deep quad stretch here. Awesome job. Good. We're going to get ready to switch it up so you can Release that right foot, send it back, bring the left up. Quad stretches. We get a little bit deeper in this position, this supine position. Now in about 10 seconds, we're gonna move into one of my favorite stretches of all time, but if you have knee issues, I'll give you the modification. It's just gonna be a figure 4. So if you know pigeon and you're okay with pigeon, you can find that position. If not, go ahead and bring your legs into a figure 4. You can reach through instead. I'm gonna find my pigeon, and in this high plank position, you're just gonna draw the knee in between the hands, settle in. You can stay up tall or you can find length in your pigeon. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and come up, switch. Now don't worry, because we're gonna actually see all of these poses and stretches 2 more times. So first time through, you might feel like you're just getting your feet wet. Maybe it wasn't long enough in each pose. 30 seconds is a decent amount of time for static stretching, but to really get in deep in this full body stretch, we're gonna repeat a couple times, starting with our runner's lunge. All right, so go ahead and step out into your angle, lean into it. So you might find that in rounds 2 and 3, you're able to get a little bit more range of motion, sink deeper into your poses, maybe settle into your breath a little bit better. So that's the goal. First round, you're kind of still figuring things out. Second round, you kind of know what's coming. You know what you can afford to sink deeper into. So that's why I always like to hit certain stretches a couple times. Go ahead and switch. So to really open up those hips, you want to press the elbow against that inner thigh. Not the knee, but the inner thigh. That is such a nice hip flexor stretch. Perfect. Good, we're gonna get into our child's pose. Finding length, spreading out those fingers. As an extra challenge, you can go ahead and find 3 deep breaths. Perfect. Go ahead and send that body into a tabletop. Tuck those feet, hips come up to your down dog. Pedal if you'd like. Good. Find your high plank. Either drop those knees or lower into your cobra or up dog. If you need to get a little bit wider in this stretch, you can do that as well. Perfect job. Really breathe into it. So nice to be able to stretch out the abs. Go ahead and lower all the way down to your mat. Find your quad stretch, right or left to start. Go ahead and release. Switch sides. Perfect job. The majority of the time, if you are experiencing any low back pain, it's usually, not always, but it's usually attributed to tightness in the hamstrings. All right, so a pigeon stretch will really, really help alleviate the tightness in the hamstrings and in the glutes. So that's why I love this stretch so much, but a figure 4 can do that for you too. I was catcher for my whole life, my whole entire softball career, which I was 12 when I started playing tournament ball, all the way up to 18 and then college. And somehow, all of those years of catching, I still escaped knee issues. Extend as far out as you'd like and really breathe into this stretch. We're going to hit this series one last time for good luck. Okay, take your time coming out of your pigeon and back into your runner's lunge. Runner's lunge lean. Whew. Good, so if you keep that chest nice and open, you should be able to feel that whole stretch. You can even take it a little further and reach out and across. That feels so good. Good. Switch it up. Any bonus stretches that get into the T-spine or low back, I am all for it. I tell my husband I'm going to be 35, but some mornings I wake up feeling like I'm 90 already. Good. Let's find our child's pose. This is one of my favorite full body stretches. It really is. And you can really explore any other areas you want to get deeper with this stretch. If you want to reach a little farther on one side, really get into those shoulders. Find your breath. Good. Let's come up to tabletop. Tuck the feet. Send those hips up. Pedal if you'd like. Ooh, my knees are crack-a-lacking. Good. Find your high plank. Drop to those knees or lower down to your cobra or up dog. This stretch you can obviously completely make your own as well. Good. I love transitioning from this move out into a quad stretch. So make sure that whole upper body is nice and relaxed to your mat. Hips are massaged to your mat. if you really want to focus on keeping that quad stretch nice and straight versus maybe opening up, you can reach across with your opposite hand. So go ahead and release. Good, we're approaching the final minute. So final pigeon stretches or figure four. Go ahead and find your either tabletop or high plank, however you like to get into start position. Drive that knee forward and don't be afraid to sink into it. Flexible hamstrings equals less low back pain. So let that be your motivation. Go ahead and switch. I hope this stretching was something that either began or ended your day on a better note than it was before you started. That's always the goal, is to leave feeling a little bit looser, a little bit happier, a little lighter, more balanced at the end. Whew. So, awesome work, team. I applaud you for getting up and doing something for you. 15 minutes to yourself goes a long way. And as I mentioned, feel free to pair this with a 5-minute meditation or just practice some deep breathing to get you into your day on a positive note or ending your day on a positive note. And I will see you next time.